Okay, class, settle down, settle down. Welcome back. It's the beginning of a new semester, so I imagine you're all eager to get started. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Professor Mildred, and I'll be your instructor for this class, whatever the class is. I don't know. Zombies 101? Sure, let's go with that. Oh, sorry, let me explain. I haven't even explained the bit yet. You see, we're doing our annual Back to Ghoul event. Back to Ghoul. Because it's September, it's like back to school. And it's so what we're gonna do, it's gonna be about zombies. I like doing themed months, okay? Sue me. Today we'll be looking at the modern classic Train to Busan, a 2016 Korean action horror directed by Yeon Sang-ho. It asks the question, what if zombies, but also on a train? Well, actually it asks a lot of interesting questions about how to behave in a crisis, when it is appropriate, if ever, to look out for oneself, and when it is appropriate to sacrifice for the greater good of your community. But the overall premise of the movie is, like, the elevator pitch of the movie is zombies, but what if on train? Spoilers for the movie throughout, it's like 5 years old. I picked this movie for a couple of reasons. One, I've never seen it, and it's universally beloved. In one video, I actually called it Train to Baton, didn't double check the name of the movie I was talking about. That still haunts me. And secondly, because of crass SEO reasons. There's a bit of a controversy about this film lately due to the announcement of a forthcoming American remake. A lot of people have been asking, does this movie need an American adaptation? And the answer is a straightforward no. No movie ever needs an adaptation. I think a more instructive question might be, would this story benefit from an American adaptation? And the answer to that question is a straightforward, I'm not sure, actually. But probably not. The general premise and story of this movie is so simple that it's a bit silly to even remake in the first place. Like, I don't mean that it's bad, it's just simple. There are zombies. Some people are on a train when the zombies come, and that super sucks for them, let me tell you. I'm not really sure what needs to be changed to make this suitable for an American audience, to be frank with you. Aside from needing to read subtitles and, I guess, racism, it feels like this story could just take place anywhere. I'm sure Korean people would pick up on all sorts of political and cultural details that a Western audience might miss. I'm sure the recurring theme of sacrifice for the greater good has some meaning beyond which I'm capable of seeing in the political context in which it was released, but nothing about it seems like it needs a lot of localizing. I mean, Americans know what trains are. Americans know what zombies are. That's really all you need. All of that being said, who cares? We have a Train to Busan right now, and it's already fucking fantastic. This is the best zombie movie in decades, and while it doesn't really add much new to the formula, aside from the additional wrinkle of on a train, it handles itself with such style, suspense, and genuine heart that it really doesn't need to. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every time you make a movie. Sometimes it's enough to just make a good wheel. The heart of a good zombie movie isn't the effects, it isn't the gore or the action or whatever, it's examining how people react in a crisis. Train to Busan isn't exactly subtle about it wants you to know about how people react in a crisis. They are panicky, dumb, and selfish. And if you want to remain safe, your best bet is to do what you can do to keep everyone else safe, because if everybody does that, everybody stays safe. But if a couple people don't, then nobody will. The film's hero? Protagonist? The film's main character, Seo Seok-woo. I don't speak Korean, and I'm doing my best, but I'm probably gonna get some names wrong. Is the reality of this situation. Seo Seok-woo. Seo Seok-woo. Seo Seok-woo, a cutthroat fund manager. Seo Seok-woo, a cutthroat fund manager who views other people as lemmings, is consistently selfish and encourages his daughter, Seo Suwon, to act similarly. He lies to clients about risky business deals, and he tries to bribe a police officer into getting him and Suwon to safety without letting any of the other passengers know. And he chides Suwon when she gives up her seat to an old lady, which she did because, like, her grandma had just died and she was feeling bad about that. And she's like, this lady reminds me of my grandma. And he still doesn't get it. Like, hey, it's everybody's in a community. Come on, Seok-woo. He is contrasted with Yoon Sang-hwa, the best character in the movie, who outright says that being a father is about sacrifice, that it's his job to take all of the shit and get none of the praise. A philosophy he lives by the way. Whenever something needs to get done, he just rolls up his sleeves and does it, saving everybody's asses multiple times and just taking it on the chin when his wife criticizes him. Like, he's shown to have a temper problem, but also never to rise to his wife's gentle mockery, just to kind of go, hey, what are you gonna do? Also, he does sweet wrestling moves on the zombies and it rules. When he finds out that Seok-woo is a fund manager, he calls him a bloodsucker, to which Suwon adds, that's what everybody's thinking. While devising a plan of attack through a car full of zombos, he says to Seok-woo, you take up the rear because you're a fund manager, so you know plenty about leaving behind useless people. The selfish characters in this movie are all rich businessmen, like this absolute asshole, Yeon Suk, who I assume was named that because he sooks so bad. In a critical juncture, he denies other passengers entry into a car fearing that they may be infected based on nothing. His selfishness escalates throughout the movie and causes most of the problems the other passengers face. Meanwhile, a disturbed homeless man who sneaks aboard the train ends up going out of his way to help others multiple times, even going so far as to sacrifice himself to save 2 trapped passengers. Do you see what I mean about how the movie isn't subtle? So for the first act, official government channels try to call the whole thing a riot. They claim it's just an outbreak of violence, well past the point where that could possibly make sense. On social media, the trending word is zombie, like people know what is happening, but the government chooses to give a ridiculous, obvious lie that blames political dissidents to save face. Early on, Seok-woo is told by one of his analysts that the whole thing is because of a strike at an industrial plant. You know, it's because the workers are doing this, that they're the scapegoat, they're causing it, right? God, can you imagine what it must be like a viral outbreak killing people, and the government tries to underplay it? Can you imagine what that must be like? In the beginning of the third act, Seok-woo discovers that the virus turning people into zombocoms originated in a biotech lab that his company had heavily invested in. That was actually the centerpiece of their entire investment strategy. That same analyst calls him, weeping, asking, "Is this my fault?" And Seok-woo answers him, "No, it isn't. But the words that go unspoken are, it's mine. It's my fault. I did this." After all, he knew something was up with the biotech plant. He was looking into it when the movie began, researching mysterious deaths of fish in the area. He chose to participate in this for his own gain, and now everyone else is paying for his mistakes. The fault for zombies is placed squarely on the backs of investment banking, as it should be. But none of the themes or what the movie is trying to say is important. Who cares what the movie is about? Fuck ideas. This movie fucking rips. And you know how in World War Z they did that thing where zombies are like waves of bodies crashing against the shore? This movie does that, but it looks scary and cool instead of crummy. The sound design is on point with tons of weird musical stings that subtly fuck with your expectations. The zombie acting is just a joy to see, and we don't waste any time with exposition. The movie shows you how the zombies are, shows people getting bit and all of that, and it trusts that you've seen a zombie movie before, like you get it. We don't have the characters sit around and go, it looks like when you get bitten you turn into a zombie. Oh, that's nothing. I fell down. And there are just tons of fun and inventive set pieces. Characters have to deal with getting sandwiched between 2 hordes at a train station, crawling silently along the luggage compartments in the dark to avoid detection, being trapped underneath collapsed trains while zombies are steadily breaking the glass of the window overhead, and it's just like a countdown until they get through. It's never the same thing twice, and each beat lasts just long enough to keep your attention, but never overstays its welcome. The characters are a little archetypical, sure, but they're all likable thanks to some fantastic performances. They all act believably and get little moments to shine. One thing I think the film struggles with, though, is that there aren't really any, capable women in the movie. They're all kinda screamy. They spend a lot of time just standing around while zombies are running at them, and so that a man can swoop in and save them in a cool shot at the last minute. And I say that not to get the movie #canceled, but because I feel the need to offer some sort of criticism, and that's just about the only thing that really stood out to me as wrong with it. Like, the female characters in the movie, there's 2 old ladies, there's a little girl, and a pregnant woman. So, it makes sense that none of them are kicking ass. It's hard to like beat up zombies while pregnant, I assume. But like, they wrote the characters to be those things. They could have just written in like a lady that has a gun. Also, I should note for the sensitive viewers among you that in the beginning of the movie, a CGI deer does get hit by a car. I thought that it was neat because the deer gets up and it's all zombie. It's a zombie deer, which is cool. But if you know, people get upset by animals getting hurt in movies. I like to let you know. And that's Train to Busan. Any questions? Anyone? Yes, Bobby. Can I go to the bathroom? Class is almost over. Can you hold it? No, it's an emergency. Peach, I really gotta go like and subscribe. I can't do it here. I need privacy. That isn't even what you do in bathrooms, Bobby. Please, I'm begging you. I'm the star of the classroom. I can't be seen liking and subscribing to this channel. Do you have any idea how embarrassing that is? All right, that's very hurtful, but go. Take a hall pass.